Hey guys, Outdoor Prepper, welcome back to the channel. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what is in front of me. This is the Vtoman FlashSpeed 1500 power station. I am a huge fan of power stations. I own lots of them, let's be honest. And this is my latest purchase, and as you can see, it's charging at my DJI drone. This is the Mini 4 Pro, which I got in South Korea. So if you're interested in drones, I'm going to link to this video. It's on the channel. Recommend that you check it out because this is pretty unique in the sense that I didn't buy it in the US. But anyway, we're here for the power station. Guys, this is so cool that I'm actually using it to charge the drone. Let's go take a walk around it and let me show you some of the features of this unit and why I like it so much, and kind of why it is a little bit different, if you would, from your kind of run-of-the-mill power station. So walking in kind of close here to just take a look at it, we can see that it's got some yellow buttons. It's got a pretty cool design, which is unique in the sense that you don't really see colors in a power station. You generally just see, plain black or plain gray, and that's it. But we're not here for the colors, although I will tell you the colors serve a purpose. So starting with the front, and don't mind it charging my equipment here, hopefully you can see on the screen here, I've been charging all these batteries, the drone, the controller. We're at 95% capacity, and we still have 43 hours remaining, which is amazing of power reserve here. But looking at it from the front, we've got two USB-C ports, and then we've got four traditional USB-As. We've got the standard car cigarette lighter charger, which I like. A lot of power stations have little by little been eliminating them, but I think they're actually very useful. We've got three standard AC outlets. Then we've got a couple of things here, or a thing that is not standard at all, and that is this jumper cable port. You can actually purchase an accessory to plug into here to use this as a booster pack to jumpstart your car, which I think is absolutely, positively amazing. I plan on picking that up. Coming to the front, we have our inputs. So you can charge here from solar, you can charge here from the AC cord, or you can charge from your car. The screen right now is kind of in standby mode because it's charging, but if I press a button, you'll see it gets a little bit brighter. Press DC to turn on the car cigarette lighter or the two 12-volt DC outputs. You press USB to turn on the USBs. You press AC to turn on all the AC outlets. And let's just come around the side here. This is just a mesh grate where the cooling fan is located, and when you turn the AC outlet on, the cooling fan will spin up just for a second. In fact, let me see if you can hear that. So that's it. It spins up for a second, then it turns off. I'm going to go ahead and turn the AC outlet off. Let me come around the side. I want to go over a couple of the specs here. And actually, while we're on the rear of the unit, I'm a big fan, as are a lot of YouTubers, of a light on a power station. Let's be honest, this power station is a giant battery. Presumably you're using it when you have no power, so it really would behoove you to have a light. So if you press the button once, the light's going to come on low. Second is medium, third is high. Then it's got like a strobe light and an SOS mode. I will probably never use the strobe light or the SOS mode, but be aware that they are there. And there we go. So I tested this light last night, and I turned all the lights off in the living room, and I put this in there, and I turned it on, and it was more than ample to illuminate the whole space and allow me to see if there was a power outage without having to plug in a lamp. All right, let's see if we can get a good look at this here on the camera. This talks about the model. The battery capacity is 1,548 watt hours. Now, generally you want to take that and you want to multiply it by about 85%. You're going to get 85% of this capacity, and you're going to say, well, where does the rest of it go? Well, it takes power to run the cooling fans, the circuitry, the inverter, the screen. All of that takes power. So generally speaking, power stations get about 85% efficiency, which is still really good. Biggest piece of information on the back here is the battery. This is the LiFePO4 lithium iron phosphate battery. It's a much safer battery chemistry than your traditional lithium ion. So this is something that you should feel safe with, that is not going to cause a fire or any issues. It talks about the AC input. Basically, it comes with the cord. Now this says it charges at 1500 watts max. I was actually pulling 1680 watts last night when I was charging this up. So that's quite a lot of power coming into it. And to its benefit though, this charges from 0 to full in about 1 hour, whereas most of the other power stations rate themselves as 0 to 80% in about an hour. DC input, you've got 12 to 20 volts, 200 watt max. Anderson input, you've got 30 to 60 volts, 400 watt max, and you'd use that for your solar panel. The DC input is really where you're going to get from your car cigarette lighter. Then we've got our AC outlets. We've got 3 of them. They're 1500 watts, but they do have a peak or a boost of around 3000 watts. Obviously, this is 60 hertz. And then we've got our DC output, which is the 12 volt, 10 amp car charger or cigarette lighter. And then we have our typical USB-A and USB-C outlets. So if we come around the other side here, this again is the other side of the cooling fan, and you can actually feel warm air coming out of this when it is charging or when it is, in heavy usage. Now, this power station has a couple of things that I actually was not used to, but I have grown accustomed and actually really like them. And the first one is, if you look at the front, you might notice something missing, and that is a power button. There is no power button on this unit. So basically, I have devices plugged in right now and charging, such as my DJI controller. I've got an extra set of batteries charging. So the screen has dimmed itself, obviously to conserve power. I'm just going to press the button to light the screen up a little bit, and I killed the USBs. But if you were to unplug the load of everything, the screen would just turn off and the unit would just turn off. And then to turn it on, whatever feature you're looking to use, you would press it kind of once to wake the unit up and a second time to turn it on. So I was a little not used to that at first when I unpacked this, and I was looking around saying, well, where's the power button? But you really don't need a power button, to be totally honest. The second thing that I was not used to, and actually if I did have to make a recommendation to Vtoman, I would actually change one thing about this, and it's not a major issue because I really do like this power station, and I plan on taking this with me in my car when I'm camping, when I'm going outdoors, because I'm showing you a perfect use case right now. This is great to charge equipment. When you're on the road, you're going somewhere and you're flying a drone, you want to charge cell phones, the drone, any devices, something like this is really going to be top notch. You can also charge your laptop. But back to my recommendation, if there is one thing I would change, when you plug this into charge, you do charge at the full input, which is rated for 1500. I was getting 1680 watts last night. But I kind of like to have the option to throttle down the charging speed. So if I want to charge really slow and take many hours, I'd like that ability to do so. It's not a deal breaker though, and most folks are probably going to want to charge at the highest speed because it charges up really quick that way. Coming up to the top here, this is a feature that at least I don't have on any of my other power stations from Bluetti and many other brands. This has a little storage compartment, and it's actually very, very convenient because, this does pull a lot of power when it's charging. So this is actually a heavier duty 14 gauge cable, and I appreciate that it came with it, and I'm going to keep it stored here in the top so I always know that the cable to charge this is basically right inside of it. It comes with the cigarette lighter plug so you can charge from your car, and it comes with a couple of USB cables. These are USB-A and C cables. So storage compartment to me is totally ideal, and I can actually throw some of these extra USB-C cables into it to keep them in here. So when I'm out flying my drone, when I'm out camping, when I'm trying to charge a piece of equipment or power a laptop, I do have enough extra space to throw some other stuff in here. And I could probably remove this cigarette lighter plug because I do not intend on charging this from the cigarette lighter in my car. That's just personal preference. So now that we've got all this stuff, kind of going over and how it works, why don't we just plug in some loads and let's see how much runtime we get. Now this is a pretty large battery, so I anticipate that when I plug in my full-size fridge, which I plan on doing, I anticipate that I will probably get between 15 and 20 hours on the fridge. And that's really good, because think about this. If you have a power outage in your home, most of the power outages are not super long lasting. Most of them are probably 5 to 6, 7, maybe 10 hours. Now, if you have a hurricane or a major storm event, you might be talking a much longer, prolonged outage. But in that case, there's other options available to you. But if you have a short duration outage, something like this is perfect. You keep the fridge cold, you keep the food from going bad. You can actually plug in a microwave, you can plug in a toaster, you could plug in a lamp, you could plug in your laptop, a television, you could watch news, get information, your Wi-Fi. There is just such a long list of things that this can power and power well for a pretty long duration. It really behooves you to have a power station. But let's do this. Let's bring this in the kitchen, let's plug the fridge in, and let's get a realistic runtime on it. After that, we're going to plug in my window AC, and I have a pretty unique window AC. And you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I've done a few tests on the window AC with different units. I'm curious to see how long the Vtoman will power that window AC. It's an inverter AC made by Hisense, and it's very efficient and does not take a lot of power. So let's do those tests. Then we're going to plug in the toaster, and then we'll wrap this video up. But if you could do me a favor, right before we get to the testing, if this video is helpful, which I hope it is, if you can like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. And then I'm going to feature this in another video about hurricane preparedness and why this really is something you may want to consider. Hey guys, we're back. It has actually been 3 days now because it took that long for me to drain this battery down on all the devices that I tested. And I just wanted to do a quick recap of where we stand and the runtimes that I got. So I plugged this unit, or I should say I plugged my fridge, the full-size fridge, into this unit, and I let it run from 100% until 0%. I got 16 hours on the fridge. I was very, very impressed with that. I have a full-size fridge. Hopefully, I'm going to cut to some video you can see from the top to the bottom. After that, I plugged in my toaster oven. Now, the toaster draws a lot of power. It's a Breville toaster oven. Obviously, I'm not doing a runtime test on the toaster, but I toasted a piece of bread, a waffle. I was able to do that with no problem. The toaster drew about 1,500 watts. It used a couple of percentage points of the battery, but that was it. I moved on to the coffee maker because that's very important for a lot of folks. No problems at all on the coffee maker. I was able to brew a cup of coffee, no issues. Took maybe 1% of the battery. Then I moved on to the air conditioner, which is, as I described, a pretty high-tech and cool window AC. I plugged my window AC into the Vtoman, and I was able to run the window AC for 14 hours, and there was still a little power left on the battery here. And what I've noticed in the past is sometimes you can get a little more runtime than what the unit actually calculates, but I was very pleased with that runtime on the window AC. So to kind of recap, this is an awesome device. It is awesome to have for, power outages, camping. I plan to keep this in the car a lot of times, so when I'm going places with my drone or my laptop, I can charge those devices up quickly, as well as my phone. Yes, the car has a cigarette lighter, but you know what? I don't want to be bothered with that. It doesn't produce a lot of power coming from the car. You also can't charge a lot of devices in the car, and the engine generally has to be running. This battery is more than sufficient to power all of that for, say, a long weekend or maybe even a week, depending on the amount of power usage that I'm getting out of this. But I think the real value in a device like this is to have it on standby for if you have a power outage in your home, in your apartment, wherever it is that you live. This is going to prove invaluable, and if you couple something like this with a small portable generator, you're basically unstoppable. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, leave some questions. I answer every single question. And one other thing I want to point out, the lifespan on this, you're talking about 10 years before the batteries deplete to maybe 80% capacity. That is a long time, so your investment is well worth it. Thanks for watching.